stay connected to DSTV for the Total Africa Cup of Nations. All 52 matches live and in HD on SuperSport on DSTV.
Yeah, good afternoon and it's a big welcome once again. It's a great pleasure for me, and I know, of course, most of the citizen viewers do not know me. My name is Topi Liambila. I know there's very few people out there who know who Topi Liambila is. I've been given a pleasure by the Citizen crew to actually have this privilege of introducing the Viva Africa 2019 Soccer Extravaganza here on Citizen TV. And I believe that most of you guys have been watching this. This is one of the greatest shows in the country at the moment. And tonight, what a night. Given the pleasure to present a show on a day like this is a privilege any broadcaster or any presenter would love to have. So thank you so much to Mike and Mukami for bringing over to the show. But tonight, of course, like Kenya play, of course, it's not like Kenya. Kenya plays Senegal. And I think we have got a lot to talk about now, but I won't say the story. The story itself, I've done my bit, and it's back now to the main guys, Mike and Mukami. Thank you.
Topi, Mukami.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Who were your mentors when you're growing up, watching TV?
I'm still growing up.
Sorry.
I'm still growing up.
Who are your mentors on TV as you're growing up? Ulikuwa unaangalia nani unasema hapa? Lazima nikuwe kama wewe.
So is Topi that to you?
That is Topi for me. When he was at KTN, he used to do the sports news at KTN, and you were saying this is where we are aiming at.
Mike, then that means he's aging really, really well, because you can't look at it. If he mentored you and you're also quite old.
Okay, do I look that old? This is a job, which is okay, which is all right. No, not a problem at all. So, but anyway, today is the day. Question of the day. We asked you, send us your messages for the Harambee Stars today. What do you have to tell the Harambee Stars before they play Senegal today? I am not on a bashing spree today. I'm not going to say we should or we shouldn't. Today I'm just saying, Harambee Stars, we can do it, go for it. Looking at the performance of Uganda yesterday against Egypt, take out the scores, they had Egypt on the ropes. Look at what DRC did yesterday against Zimbabwe. Anything can happen. Madagascar beating Nigeria. In this tournament, anything can happen. Harambee Stars, we know you're streaming this show live. We know you're watching from Egypt. Go for it. Don't shy away.
Yep, and Mike, of course, we have a lot of giveaways in today's show. We want a lot of people to go home early. We have 5 DSTV shirts to give away. All we are asking for you is to send us a video on Twitter, tag at Citizen TV Kenya, at Mukami Wambora, and at Mike Okinyi, all 3 of us, with your message for the Harambee Stars, and 5 lucky viewers get to walk away with that t-shirt. And Mike, up for grabs today?
Up for grabs actually is 5,000. We start afresh. On Friday, remember, we had a big debate here about names and pronunciations and everything else. We forgot to do the count back, the checks on how many correct answers Lawrence actually had. Take out the contentious issues, he still answered 8 correct answers. So we're looking for you, Lawrence. 15,000 bob is yours. Nimeweka kando, ndio hii, wacha niweke huko nyuma. That's 15,000 bob, but today we start afresh. 5,000 bob up for grabs. Unanipea pesa yangu Mukami? Bas, quick fire, ndio hii niko nayo. Wacha niweke pande hii. So, Lawrence, if you can get to us, tweet me at Mike Okinyi or Mukami at Mukami Wambora. We have your 15,000 bob. You can come for it tomorrow. But then today, we start at 5,000 bob.
Now, before we get straight into the show, let's take a look at yesterday's highlights, where Egypt maintained the perfect start to the tournament by winning 2-0 against Uganda in Cairo. That means Egypt are through and Uganda as well, despite that loss. Let's take a look at the other game. DR Congo making an impressive comeback, defeating Zimbabwe 4-0 to give themselves a chance to qualify to the next round. And finally, one of the results of the tournament, Madagascar shocked Nigeria 2-0 to qualify as Group B winners. What an impressive storyline. I think that's one of the key things of making this tournament 24, because you don't expect such results. It's time for us to now link up with Bernard, who is in Cairo, Egypt. Bernard, can you hear me?
Yes, Mukami. Good afternoon. How are you? I can hear you very loud and clear.
Yep, it's D-Day for Kenya, Bernard. Our fate is in our hands, and I know throughout the tournament a lot of the concerns that we've had in terms of the backline especially is injuries. Can you give us an update on who is fit for tonight's game? Do we have our preferred starting 11?
Well, Mukami, first of all, yesterday the National Football Team Harambee Stars held their final training session ahead of today's game, a very, very crucial game. And it started at about 7 p.m. Cairo time, that is 8 p.m. Kenyan time, at the Annex 1 facility where the team was just going through their paces, going through their formations. And obviously the key question is, will our backline live up to expectations? Will they be able to numb the feared Senegalese attacking might that is, of course, led by Sadio Mane and his ilk? I guess for most people, the concern is whether or not Josh Onyango can actually be able to make a start. He's missed the first 2 games because of an ankle injury, and I watched him training yesterday, and I could see he was not at 100%, so that could be a bit of a concern, because most people are expecting perhaps he could be able.
Okay, there seems to be a connection problem. We will try and catch up with Bernard as soon as we get him back. And before we move on to Kenya, Mike, I just want to hear from Topi and Moses. Yesterday's result, Madagascar beating Nigeria 2-0 and qualifying as group winners, the first ever time in the competition. Could anyone have written that script?
Nobody. And in football, don't expect it to be written anywhere. Because football is a game of chances, I've always told people. You know, you cannot say you have prepared the best and you're going to do it. You know, most of us, rely on what is on paper or what's out in the street. But if you remember, like, my good friend here, you remember Cameroon in 1990. The commentator actually said 10 seconds before the goal, he said, this African, they're good players, but they're really not going to do anything here. There's no chance. 5 seconds from that, Oman Big scores. And that is the goal that gave Cameroon 1-0 of Argentina, the world champions. And Cameroon, imagine, that same 1990 had actually been bundled out of the Africa Cup of Nations in the group stages.
So nobody gave them a chance, actually.
Nobody gave them a chance. They were fighting money, in the hotels, they were fighting who is to start the first lineup, who is going to be in goal. Thomas Ngono coming out of oblivion, he says, because he's a big guy and he's been there, he has got to be in goal. He was in the #1 goalkeeper, but you see, he's been in there. Money played a part, but look at what happens. Madagascar believed in themselves, and they're a solid team. Nigeria must have gone in there thinking, these islanders.
First-timers.
First-timers. Let's go have fun. They got the fun the wrong way. They got punished.
Will Cameroon do the same?
Yes, it's possible. First, we are champion. So there's no
You're not
way
playing like champions.
There's a problem. We have the same issue all the time about allowance, money issue. You see, before the guys start their first match against Guinea-Bissau, they were stressed. So they were playing because of patriotism, not about money. And we have the same problem. That's what all our players will be very motivated. So, in fact, my pronostic is that we are taking the champion again. We are keeping our title again.
You sure?
Yeah,
sure.
And then
sure.
something interesting as well, and especially in recent times in football, the country that wins the tournament and get out in the group stages the next time, or don't really go that far. Do you feel like that there's a sense that that's something that could happen? If you take a look at Germany in the World Cup, Ivory Coast won in 2015, 2017, knocked out in the group stages. Is that something that could potentially happen for Cameroon?
Yeah, in fact, I think the situation we have in Cameroon, actually, we only have football. So there, I'm not doubting about anything. So since we have only football, we have to put a lot of energy there. And our players and players for Cameroon, they know that. See, they have to, at least, to make the nation to be proud of them, to beat all their matches. Plus, we have a good coach, Clarence Seedorf, who is a professional, who is a very good player, who have a technique, good strategy system for football. So with that and Basogo also, who play in China, we call him the millionaire from China. Yeah. With, so he's bringing a new tactic system. And all the group, there's no player who's best than other. Like a season for Samuel Eto'o. We have all the hope in Samuel Eto'o. But now we have Basogo. We have many other players, and they play on team general together. So they agree there's no way that anyone is the best, so it's really a good team actually. So
what you played against Ghana, I'm not so sure that's a Cameroon I want to see the last 15 minutes.
Seriously?
There's a matter of chance. You see many goals we have lost.
Yeah, but
it's a matter of chance.
But football is about scoring goals.
Yeah.
And I think there's also the other thing. I think maybe like away from this, I think we need just to ban this issue of bonuses to players and what all over Africa. Because look at it, allowances really, it's the allowances that are playing.
Not the players.
In fact, follow the African Cup nation rules. Cameroon not supposed to be participating because we went late.
Yes.
We were supposed to be in Egypt 5 days before the tournament. And the last day we are still fighting about the allowance.
Was it solved? But I didn't follow that story.
In fact, the government, the Minister of Sport has never really given us a good information about it. But what we think, players, they are okay. And then they are rich, they have money, so they have to play for the country.
I love that. At least they're rich.
Yeah, they've got money.
They don't need that money.
Yeah. But why should it be a case of allowances? Because we're always drumming about that. Allowances. And you see, that gets away the game from the input of the human element in the game, because you're going there because you're going to be paid money.
Yeah, and Cameroon is just not the only country. There's Zimbabwe who had a similar situation, as well as Burundi, that they were complaining that the allowances haven't been paid before the tournament. And I think yesterday it showed when Zimbabwe lost 4-0.
Poor Zimbabwe. But you see, this is what we are talking about. I don't know. I mean, we probably are sports journalists. Maybe you guys need to really, because it's the same problem all over. I mean, like even for Kenya, we have had issues where, our players are not even going anywhere because they don't play because there are no allowances.
It has happened. At least it's the first time that we've seen, we say we thrive in crisis.
Yeah.
When Harambee Stars don't have money, don't have anything, we see the best out of them. This time, everything has been put there.
Yeah,
At least against Tanzania, we saw some beautiful play. Second half was the best that they have played. And if they pick up from where they left in the second half, I believe we will be able to do something. But now, we just have fans in the studio. I want Mukami to engage our fans today and what the expectations are. But Mukami, the first thing I want them to tell me, I am looking at all these guys. I don't know where they've bought these replicas. Our official shirt is up there. Yeah. None of them has any of that.
Any of the official shirt.
Mike, before I get to the fans,
for discussion.
Yeah? I think we've managed to get Bernard on the line.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bernard, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm on standby for a while. Hear you.
Bernard, can you hear me?
Yes.
When we last spoke, you were talking about Josh Onyango. Can you give us an update on that? Will he be fit for tonight's game?
Well, in the first training session that they held about a few days ago, he looked 100%, but yesterday he was not, of course, in the first, because what usually happens is they have two sets of players on one side and the other, they play against each other, and you can get a sense of the starting lineup that Sebastian Minge will adopt, because that has the senior team players, members of the players, all of them, of course, are senior team members, but you could be able to tell that he was not in that particular team that was playing against the other one, and he was standing a bit on the sidelines. But also another concern, Mukami and Mike, is Eric Ouma Mathelo, as is known in the Kenyan football circles. Unfortunately, he seems to have suffered a strain, and he kept clutching his right hamstring, and that's just at the back of the thigh there. So perhaps that's also cause for concern. And that's a main injury that Kenya would not hope to have against the Senegalese, because you can imagine the way the young man has been, of course, electrifying opponents at the wing there. He's very fast, very balanced runner, very balanced footballer, and he used those skipping runs to enable footballers, of course, to have an attacking platform. So that is cause for concern, Mukami. Josh Onyango might not be available. We'll be able to see later on when Sebastian Migne names the squad. Marcelo yesterday seems to be a bit out of sorts, and so it will be keen to see how the kind of lineup that Sebastian Migne will adopt. But it's likely that the team that played in the second half against Tanzania is the one that will likely be starting against Senegal later this evening.
The mood in the camp, it always tells you where the players are inclined towards. I know there's a lot of mathematics being done, especially here in studio, because the ifs are too many.
Yes.
We're saying if we lose, if we draw, the only sure thing is we beat Senegal, we advance. Has this downed on the players, and what is the mood in the camp in terms of you're facing a very good team?
Well, Mike, when I watched their last training session yesterday, the players were laughing, joking with each other. As much as they were going through their different formations, it was a very light training session, not too physical, not too engaging, because on the eve of a very crucial game, you don't want to get the players too worked up. But they were smiling, they were passionate, they were cracking jokes. But once the training started, you could see that there was this semblance of unity. I think that's the clarion call that every Kenyan perhaps will be sending towards the team, that positive energy. But that energy is what will be very, very crucial against the Lions of Teranga. I think it all started in the press conferences, the press conferences that were held yesterday. Sebastian Migne was very categorical and said, we are the underdogs, we are going to put our best foot forward because we know we are facing one of the top teams in the continent. For Senegal, they felt almost like they've been pushed to a corner because they expected that they would reap maximum points against Algeria, but they slipped up. So for them, they really want to try as much as possible to gain maximum points. They have a lot of pressure on them, that is the Senegalese. But for Kenya Harambee Stars, for them, they feel they have achieved so much and they still believe that they can achieve more. So the mood in the camp yesterday, Mike, and I'm sure in the course of today ahead of their game against the Senegalese, is one of excitement, is one of some sense of calm, because the pressure is not on them as much, but the pressure is on the opponent. So they should use that to their advantage, Mike, because you can imagine the ramifications. You've looked at the type of results we had yesterday. The Democratic Republic of Congo, most people expected them to implode against Zimbabwe, but they lost heavily by 4-0. So it creates a very interesting scenario in terms of the permutations, because if you look at the top team now in terms of the third best losers, you have now Benin. Second place, you have the Democratic Republic of Congo. Third place, you have South Africa, and you have Kenya. So we have 1 foot in, but we need to consolidate that position, Mike. We need to triumph or gain a point so that we can be able to qualify into the next round, Mike.
Bernard, one final question. You attended the press conference yesterday. Cisse speaks in French, and I know you understand a bit of French. Can you give us a sense of where his headspace was and how he's going into this game against Kenya?
Well, for the head coach of Senegal, Aliou Cisse, I think for him he will be glad that one of his key players could be featuring, and that is Issa Gueye. Remember, he was injured in the past few games that they played, so they missed him rather, and so he'll be very, very happy that to have this midfielder. He's a very creative midfielder. He's played for Everton, and this is one of the players he'll be really revolving his playing style. So that means Kenya needs to be very careful, especially that there in the middle there. Of course, Wanyama is a stalwart in the midfield there. So for the Senegalese, I'm 100% certain that they're planning to go all out for the first minute. They want to score an early goal. They want to consolidate their lead as much as possible in the opening stages of the game. But you know, the defensive setup has been lauded by a lot of the coaches because of how we performed during the qualifying phase. But that is done and dusted. This is the tournament. The tournament has started proper. So far we have licked about 4 goals. So we need to ensure for Kenya that we are able to stand firm at the back, and that will be very crucial. As much as Josh Onyango's absence looks ominous, Kenya knows that they need to neutralize, especially Gueye, if he's named by the head coach Aliou Cisse. He talked about their training session. It was funny. He said that they want to win against Kenya so that they can be able to start preparing for the next game. So they are so overconfident. I felt they were a bit overconfident in terms of the game. They felt that these are going to be easy points, but this is football. You never know. You've seen a team like Madagascar. We beat them 1-0 in a friendly, and they're top of the group. They beat Nigeria. So it's Africa Cup of Nations. Anything is possible, Mukami.
Your predictions, Bernard, I have to put you on the spot. How do you see tonight's game going?
Well, for me, I feel it will be an entertaining clash. But personally, obviously want Harambee Stars to triumph with an obvious bias. So for Harambee Stars, I call it 1-0, Mukami.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Bernard.
Mukami, what's your prediction?
Huh?
I put you in the same spot.
Let's first talk to the fans.
We go to you first because we know you and Harambee Stars.
Let's talk to the fans. Let's speak to the fans.
Of course.
You just introduce yourself and then you can just tell us, how do you feel Kenya will perform today? What do we need to do to get a good result against Senegal?
Okay, my name's are Naftal Odhiambo and I'm from Embakasi. Okay,
just hold the mic up to you.
Prediction for today, I think we will win the game by 2-0. That's my prediction. When we have Olunga there, I know everything will be okay. And if coach can make a slight change about the backyard, then we'll be good. Especially Saidia Abudomar. I think hiyo change ikifanywa, alafu mid ikuwe strong, then I know everything will be okay on our side.
Very confident I win. Maybe you can also say something. What does Kenya need to do tonight to get a good result? And or what do you consider as a good result when we're playing Senegal?
Kwa majina naitwa Peter Okoth. Ile kitu naona angefanya acheze hata kwa mid vizuri ndio at least pate ushindi.
So not on the wings, hapo katikati nyuma ya Olunga.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things people have been saying is they should play two strikers. Do you agree with that? Because when Avire came into the game against Tanzania, you could see there was a slight shift. That's when we started creating chances. Is that something we should try and do with Senegal?
Yes.
So Avire should start?
Yes.
So, Samuel Omondi. So, going with the two previous matches for Senegal, I've watched them keenly. The first match against Tanzania and the second match against Algeria. With me, I'm confident that Kenya can win, even with a bigger margin. Going with the defense for Senegal, we can win. And what will determine our win is the mentality of our players, playing unit. Like in the defense, in our last match, we played David Owino, Calabar, on the right flank, on the right offensive, of which he never played well because he was from the injury. But as at now, I think Nani will come because I had confirmed with him and Josh. Then I think what coach can do, he should push Musa Mohamed on the right fullback, then play Josh and Nani on the defense, Josh and Okumu. Then Nani should start Avire and Olunga. Then we should press.
Sadio Mane plays on the left wing. Who should play in front of Musa? If Musa is now being forced to move to the right wing, who should now play on the right flank? Or what position, what formation should Kenya go for?
I think we should stick to 4-4-2, of which Nani should stick either Okumu or Josh. Someone should stick with Nani, Mane. I think on that one we lock them out. Then we utilize our chances. We'll be better to go. And I'm sure we are winning this game today.
Okay, let me let the ladies speak at least. Just introduce yourself and...
Okay, my name is Gladys Mbula. I'm from Embakasi. Today's match is a bit tricky, but I believe in our team. And I do believe in miracles too. So we just pray. So we've played, I think, 2 matches with Senegal. We've never beat them. They always beat us. So today, a miracle can happen. Yeah.
So, win or draw?
I believe in a win.
Mike, it's so interesting to see how things have changed from the Kenyan fans that we spoke to before the Tanzania game and the Kenyan fans now. There's so much belief and hope.
Yes, when you play well, remember we said, the secret to beating Tanzania is open up the game, attack, put the speedy wingers, we'll have the results. It happened. Today, my fear is that Sebastian Minye will go back to his default settings. And by default settings is park the bus. He knows a point is enough. Regardless of what the other guys do, he needs a point to go to the round of 16. And the permutations, remember Mukami, we're looking at them, and we'll go to the video wall to show you guys. It all depends. Harambee Stars lose, out, come back home. There are no two ways about it. They draw, better. We could be playing Madagascar or who else? Mukami?
Or Uganda.
Madagascar or Uganda is next if we draw. If we win. No, if we win, we play Uganda. If we draw,
we could play Madagascar.
Madagascar or worse, Egypt. So it's upon Harambee Stars. It's all in their hands. Win, you get an easier route to go. Not so easy because it's another derby coming up. So by the way, I hope you win so that we meet these Sables and we show them that we can also play football.
Yep.
Yeah?
And Mike, the game today will be on Super Sport 7. So I'm sure all of the Kenyans, in fact, we've agreed with the newsroom. News today finishes at 9:45. Everyone gets a chance to actually watch Harambee Stars taking part. Remember, DSTV they have been showing all the games throughout the tournament on DSTV Compact, DSTV Compact Plus, DSTV Family, and some DSTV Premium, of course, and some selected games on DSTV 10. Remember, I've given you guys some instructions on how to walk away with a shirt. During this break, I'll be taking a look at some of those videos and we will be letting you know who has won. Let's just take a quick break and we'll be back in just a bit.